welcome to What's the 314, where we give you the 314 on what's happening in and around our amazing city of St. Louis. I'm your host, Angela Hochman, and yes, usually Draco is here by my side, but he is not today. Unfortunately, we miss you, Draco. So kick back, we're gonna have the Angela show. We have seriously a really fun show planned for tonight, and guess what? This is our 10th episode. Oh my gosh, where does the time go? We still only look like we've done 9 episodes. Anyway, we could not have done this show without you all, our viewers, our special guests, the city of St. Louis. We just want to say thank you. Now, listen, you guys, on today's episode, we are going to go back in time. We're going to recap some of our favorite shows with previous special guests. Now, earlier this year, we had on Morgan Casey, the founder and creator of Date Ideas and Things to Do on the show. She is an amazing human. The fact that she can curate these amazing events here in St. Louis and other cities as well. I mean, she's just answered the question of what's there to do in St. Louis? So many options. But guess what? Our very own Draco had the opportunity to be part of one of her events. Yes, the one and only HipHop Orchestra, which looked awesome. If you missed out on this event, don't worry, you can take a quick look at the recap.
This is a first that someone actually thought, what would it look like if we put hip hop music and orchestral music together? Funny thing is, growing up as a kid in the hip hop culture, I always wanted to mesh the two worlds together, but obviously when we pick up our instrument, we stick with classical for the most part. I am a member of the Blackbird String Ensemble, and our ensemble, along with others, are playing in the pit today. We are actually, I'm a violinist, and so we are playing some of the classical pieces today. I mean, this is not classical, this is hip hop.
It's a very unique event where we're marrying classical music and hip hop, you know, and when you are there in the theater, you really get to feel and hear what the experience is. It's just a merging, a unity of two things that we don't normally put together, or we don't think we normally put together. We're putting them together on a stage. My part of the show is being the basically the bass for the orchestra, for the symphony. I'm playing the tracks. The tracks are specially mixed by Bradden to fit into the symphony type of feel. So my job is to play the tracks and to be there supporting the symphony. I think it's going to be great because I think there are a lot of people who've never seen a symphony before, never heard a symphony live, and they can really understand how classical music and hip-hop music really aren't that far fetched from each other when you hear the production and the strings, the horns, types of things like that you hear in the background music. So I think it'll really pique people's interest when it comes to looking deeper into the music's roots and how vast it can spread aside from just being hip hop. It's classical too.
I go by the Art of Jazz, and this is my original artwork. I have acrylic paintings and oil paintings. I've been painting since I was very young. Right now, I do live painting at events. I host paint and sips, and I also do caricature fans. So I am always ready to spice up your event. I definitely think art and hip hop are very intertwined. Hip hop is just a different form of art using words instead of paint, but they both tell a story and tell a message. I'm a huge fan of all of Morgan's events, so I'm always happy to be included. She gave me an opportunity to showcase my work, so of course I took it.
This is the hip-hop orchestra, so we're going to be playing some hip-hop tunes with string orchestra accompaniment.
It's hosted from STL Local. It's actually her first show ever, Morgan Casey, and I'm really happy to be part of this. This is our first time playing in this kind of musical environment, and it's really fun, and I really appreciate how during our rehearsals we can take a lot of like creative freedom through things. Like we want to change parts of the music we can, and I feel like it really like encapsulates the spirit of hip hop.
And I am born and bred classical musician, so to get a chance to play hip hop music and play orchestral parts with that is something really special.
I'm glad it's in St. Louis. Everyone's St. Louis. Even Bradden is from St. Louis, even though he lives in LA. So it makes me feel very proud of my community. So
Me too.
Okay, that looked absolutely incredible. I hope Draco's involved in the next one too, because I want front row seats. Speaking of Morgan Casey, let's take a look at a moment when she was here to talk about how she got involved and started curating these events.
The events that you have is not just regular events. You know what I'm saying? It's different events that's really bringing in a diverse crowd. So can you talk about like the vision between that and what you were doing before?
Yeah, so I think like if I think back to like high school, I was never a kid who like would fit in one group of folks. I was the type that like every day at lunch I was at a different table because I love everybody. And I think that for me it was like being in high school, you go to some parties and you wouldn't feel like you fit in. So my goal has been to create spaces where no matter who you are, what you look like, where you're from, you can have a good time. I think I focus on like events that are adult themed, which means things that we've done as kids, but making them now fun for adults. So like adult Easter egg hunts, adult proms, adult spelling bees.
That was
Like
fun.
roller skating and like all of these fun nostalgic things.
Yeah, we did an ice skating event earlier in January, R&B and ice skating. We rented out Centene, and we got to skate where the Blues practice.
Facts,
pretty cool.
facts.
Oh my
Look,
gosh.
she talked about the adult spelling bee. It was at Work and Leisure. Shout out to Work and Leisure too, by the way. So
wow.
not only is she doing amazing events that are different, but she's tapping into venues that are untapped. But it's really good to tap into them. So yeah,
I'm glad you noticed that, because I purposely try to pick venues that you probably have never been to before.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah,
And ultimately a place that you want to support too.
For sure.
Both as a patron, and you're also like, by the way, I'm bringing 200 of my closest friends here to gather at this event. I mean, no, seriously. You're like, that was so last year.
Nah, even for 314 Day, you had an amazing, you had an actual bus, which was dope, because it's like a tour bus that we can go around the city for people who from here but not even been to different spots. Like we went to different, like Kathy's Kitchens, places.
I love Kathy's Kitchen. Did you get the shrimp?
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I get the
Shout
shrimp.
out
I
to
got
Kathy.
that day, but I get the shrimp all the time. For
So
sure.
Kathy's amazing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, she does a lot.
That's incredible. I think it's so important to remind, especially locals, that you can feel like a tourist in your own city.
for sure.
Explore those different neighborhoods, the pockets, because we can get stuck in our own areas. And also, how does it feel to you just to bring together this melting pot of people for every event?
It's priceless. And I mean that in the sense of like, there's a lot of events that I do where I don't make $1 from them. And it's just because I'm so addicted to the feeling that I get when I'm in a space and I look around and I see people smiling and hugging each other and getting to know each other. It's just, I mean, it's incredible.
How has the growth been coming from where you started and where it is now? Of course, people like who really know you knows the growth.
Yeah.
But like, how has the growth been for you?
Don't make me cry, babe.
Come on, man. I'm just saying.
We got tissue.
I think where I see the main growth in me is my confidence. I think like when I first started, I was doing everything for free. I was just like, I was scared to charge people. even if someone wanted me to create an event for them, I was just like, well, I'll just do it for you. It's crazy, right? And so now that I've gained my confidence, I'm able to create, but also live off of what I'm creating, which is like the biggest blessing ever. And just being able, my son, he's 11, and now he's like following my footsteps and doing his own kid events and things like that.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just, you know, it's a lot of growth within myself and my family in the business.
That's a huge realization, Morgan, to just be aware of your own value. Because it's hard when you're so excited and so passionate. Like, oh, I'll just do it. I like you. Then you're like, no, I have to feed my family. I need to support myself. So why not?
Yeah, here's my reason. Because like if it wasn't for him, I probably would still be just trying to be, you know, helping everybody. And I still help. It's just a way to do it to where you're protecting yourself as well. So
yeah. So when it comes to like data, I'm harping on data ideas and things to do. You're so much more than that, but that's what a lot of people know you for when it comes to advertising, and you as an event producer. You know, you're not a promoter. Stop playing with her. Stop playing with her. Okay.
She won't get you tickets to everything. How inspiring. Okay, another star from the city that was a very, very fun guest was, I have to say, the one and only Mr. Anthony Cherry, the king of hair. Now, I secretly hoped he was gonna like work on our hair during the episode, but he didn't. He had a lot of other things going on. So take a look.
So I want to jump right into it because you do so much, and I think people need to know what's going on with Mr. Cherry. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to this, you actually started making your name by doing hair. Not only that, you also had a salon, correct? So let's start with the roots, from the beginning.
Well, I started doing hair on St. Louis Avenue in Graham.
Okay.
When I moved back to St. Louis from Detroit back in 1994, but I grew up in a salon. My grandmother was the very first person to ever do hair extensions in the city of St. Louis, Velma Salon on St. Louis Avenue. So I was kind of indoctrinated and grandfathered in the game. Never in a million years, but I would have thought that I would become a hairstylist. I wanted to be like a political analyst or a news anchor because I love to talk and I love to communicate and convey things to people. And that's what made me end up writing the books that you see right here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Yes, that was like, the books was like, that was me telling my story from rocks to locks. I was in the streets at one point selling drugs as a kid. And then one day I had an intervention in my life and I ended up, my auntie put me in beauty school. So that's how it kind of all started, you know? And then at the time, didn't fit for me in St. Louis, so I ended up moving to Milwaukee and came back to St. Louis and became the prominent hairstylist. But then I saw greater things for myself.
For sure.
Life happened. Some things happened that was very detrimental, and I ended up moving to Los Angeles to pursue music and television. I went to LA and I got hit by a car January the 3rd. I had just got a recurring role for the Parkers. I was supposed to start it on a Monday, got hit by the car on a Sunday, and it just took I was on my bed of affliction, and then that's what reverted me back to doing her. This lady came back to me, she was a prophet. She was like, there's something you need to go back to do. And I'm like, doing what? Creative writing, you know? And then I'm like, hair. Right. And that opened up, like, you know, in the Bible say your gift will make room. So and I'm not mad about it, because at that time I got a chance to meet Mona Scott Young, who at the time was Missy Elliott's manager. I did Mona hair first, and then I worked with Missy, and then I became celebrity hairstylist.
And that was all in LA?
All in LA.
Wow.
Wow, and like you said, growing up, you had no idea that life would have you down this certain path.
No idea.
Okay, that guy is unstoppable. Speaking of Hollywood and stars, we had Marlon West on, okay? I was kind of like geeking out knowing that he was coming. He is an animator from the Walt Disney Studio, and he came in to talk about a very unique, it was an art gallery display that he had going on right here in St. Louis. And when you hear his motivation and inspiration, it might blow your mind. And fun fact, we went to the same college. Yay, Columbia College, Chicago. I heard something changed around your 12th birthday when you were given a camera as a gift. How did that sort of pivot and make you the man that you are today?
Well, you know, I was really interested in making movies. I was very into like the Universal horror films, monster movies, big time. And I was given a movie camera for my 12th birthday, and you know, I'm currently in both then a fun-sized brother, so I would get my neighborhood kids out, and like they wouldn't listen to me or could listen to it. They had their own ideas. So I started doing animation, like stop motion animation with my G.I. Joes and things like that. And what happened was my cast shrank, but my production value went up because they had nice outfits, they had vehicles,
you had a vision at a young age.
So yes, I started doing like stop motion animation and have stuck with animation all my life.
I mean, do any 12-year-olds even know? I mean, now it's like kids are so advanced and there's so much technology available, but like I wouldn't have had stop motion in the forefront of my mind at 12 years old.
Well, like I said, I was always into monster movies and things, and I'd get anything out of the library or the bookmobile that would come around when I was a kid.
I miss the bookmobile.
Me too. And there was a book that had a photo of like Willis O'Brien, who was the animator behind King Kong, in 1933 King Kong. And this was probably from like 1928 when he was doing The Lost World. And I was in the second grade or something when I found this book. But it was probably a publicity still of Willis O'Brien, and he was like looking real serious. He had a Triceratops and the Tyrannosaurus Rex fighting, and fedora on and blazer, and he's like looking in the camera. And that was the first time I ever saw an animator, somebody animating. And to my second grade mind, I was like, seeing him there with those miniatures, I was like, that seems like a job where a brother could bring his toys to work with him. I need that. And that was that was like my Rosetta Stone or something. That was like the one, that's the first time I ever saw anything behind the scenes. I mean, growing up here in St. Louis, at least for me, movies could have been filmed on another planet and shot here on a rocket into movie theaters. That's how far Hollywood was to me. I didn't know anybody out there. I didn't know anybody who knew anything about film. So
you just went out there.
So I had that one little picture was like deconstructing that was like, okay, I need a camera, I need a little thing, I need a table. Okay, there's 24 frames in a second of film going through a projector. Okay, so I shoot my movie camera at it for a couple of frames.
So this was ingrained in you from a very young age.
Yes,
You're like,
a lot of trial and error.
Of course.
Mainly error.
Okay, we've got to take a very quick pause, but when we return, we are gonna keep going back down memory lane. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned. Did you know that you can watch STL TV on your smartphone or tablet? That's right, STL TV is available on your Android or iOS mobile devices. And that includes our live broadcast channels as well as video on demand content. It is really easy to get started. Just find the App Store on your device, then search for Cablecast. Select it and click to install. Launch the app, and if you're in the St. Louis area, STL TV should be the first channel to show up. If you're not in the area, you may have to scroll down to find it. So just click on the STL TV logo, and in just a few seconds, you're enjoying STL TV's great programming such as City Corner, Inside Sports, City Government, What's the 314, or my personal favorite, In the Kitchen. All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. Like I said, we are celebrating our 10th episode. I know, we grow up so fast. And we are gonna take a look back at some more of our very favorite moments. So I'd say grab a vest, grab a Fitz's root beer, and sit back and kick back and enjoy this show. So during the global pandemic, there seemed to be a new occupation that emerged, being a content creator. Yes, literally anyone with a phone, a little bit of creativity and imagination, you got yourself sort of employed. We had St. Louis's very own Mr. Bradden STL. This guy, I mean, if you thought I love St. Louis, he is just, the guy screams STL. He is awesome. He came on to talk about how he got his very own start. So you're gonna be really inspired. Let's take a look at what inspired Bradden. How did it go from just maybe a little hobby that you did to just completely escalating?
Yeah, so I was actually going to start right before COVID happened. It was right around 314 day of 2020. I was like, okay, I'm going to launch. World shut down a few days before that. And the reason I was going to launch in the first place was like, I never saw my version of St. Louis being shared. To me, in my opinion, it was always like the same few places, same restaurants, same events being shared. So I was like, okay, let me showcase my version of St. Louis. The world shut down, and I saw that more as an opportunity to help these local businesses because Instagram is a free application our phones, we pay for it, it comes with a camera, so I'm like, okay, it just added up. And so for me, it was going to these restaurants, spending my money and showcasing what I ate, talking about it, which led on to when they introduced Reels, the videos, I'm like, we're in the show me state. You gotta show people before they go.
Thank
and
you.
so
Yes.
I took that and I used to encourage tons of people to create it. And they're like, oh, I'm not good. And I'm like, look, I'm learning with you, but like the more people we can get to create St. Louis-based content, the better that is for tourism. It helps, it helps restaurant owners who are doing so much. They're busy. They don't know if they're gonna have 5 people or 200 people in the restaurant.
Right.
And so we built that community really to help, and wouldn't want to do it in any other city but St. Louis.
Okay, not only was Bradden a guest, but we were lucky enough to have him as a guest host when our own Draco had to be out. So take a look and enjoy the height difference. I'm your host, Angela Hochman, and as you can see, this is not Draco. Spoiler alert, he is out today, but we have asked our friend Bradden from Bradden STL to step in and join today. Bradden, how the heck are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. And Draco, we miss you, but also, I'm happy to be here.
And once again, speaking of the STL, how could we have a show and not have the founders of 314 Day on the show? Hello. Draco got to talk with them about the foundation and how it has evolved.
I really want to start about the foundation, how you, Tatum, and of course you, Dip, how did you guys even come about with the 314 Day concept?
Gotcha. I'll let Dip start with that one.
Well, I mean, we didn't put the story out a couple of times, man, but it was just literally one of those, like, it started with me doing like my marketing promotions. Bro was always, backing me on just different things. He gave my first endorsement when he was, when he was running the Pimp Juice brand and all that. And I just had my little black book and we just going over some ideas. I'm like, hey, bro, what you think about this? And he was like, up. And he do what he do. It was funny. We was talking the other day to somebody. He was like, dang, he just gets right to it. And that's, that's what happened. And I think, from then on out, and, everything just snowballed. Like the first year was success. The second year we went to the moon with it, and we realized we were like, oh, hold on now. Like, you might be 10 years ahead of time. We was at Busch Stadium the second year.
Wow.
And you cannot talk about the 314 and not mention food. Yay, one of my favorite things in the world. We had the founder and creator of the Taste of Black St. Louis, Aisha James. She came on, she was lovely. She talked about how this event got started and gave us some teasers for what to expect. So enjoy this episode. Why did you decide to add this to your, I'm sure, already busy life?
Well, honestly, becoming the founder of the Taste of Black St. Louis was an accident. It was not supposed to be me. I guess God can say it was, but
yeah.
I didn't know that this was in his cards for me. In about 2017 of August, I seen a video that was actually circulating around Facebook, and it was the Taste of Black Chicago. And I've actually made a post and tagged a lot of my friends. It was like, hey, you guys should do this, like business owners, and went back to go check the post, and people was like, let us know when you do it. So I'm like, wait a minute, that was not supposed to happen like that. I was gonna be helping.
I was just throwing the idea out there,
right?
Trying to be the one to...
Yeah, to try and initiate it, like, hey, bring it to St. Louis. But, well, like I said, God had the plans for me, so that is the beginning. And then coming the next following year, 2018, is when we found our way into Tower Grove Park that September day.
Woo, all right, we have had a lot of great guests, truly, truly amazing. So we are gonna take one more quick pause, but don't worry, I'm coming back, so stay tuned. Hey, it's Angela Hochman here, your host of In the Kitchen on STL TV. I wanted to invite you to tune in to In the Kitchen Mondays at 8 p.m. This show is so much fun, okay? We showcase different chefs and restaurateurs from all over St. Louis. Again, write down, Mondays, 8 o'clock p.m. Tune in, see what's cooking. Hey everyone, welcome back. Now, we know that winter will be here soon. One of my favorite seasons. I can taste the cocoa already. And you might be looking for some fun things to do in the city. As I mentioned, Morgan Casey has the scoop. Look up date ideas and things to do in St. Louis. But our city just really has some really cool things to offer for the entire family. First up, you can do the 40th Amarant's Thanks for Giving Day Parade. Cute little play on words. That is actually happening on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November 28th. You can check out the Polar Express train ride at St. Louis's Union Station. And while you're there, there are a million new things that have popped up at Union Station too. There are so many different holiday lights. Our family just likes to drive around sometimes through really cool, fancy neighborhoods and look at their lights. Or Tillis Park is always popping. One of my personal favorites, a Hochman family tradition, is the Missouri Botanical Gardens Garden Glow, okay? These earrings right here, these are straight out of the Botanical Garden gift shop, courtesy of my daughter. The Way of Lights at the National Shrine of Our Lady of the Snows. A lot going on there. Winterfest is going on in Keener Plaza. Cannot forget the Fabulous Fox. I could just go there and look at the lobby and take pictures, and if I don't see the show, no big deal. Just kidding, you gotta see theater. Support local theater too. Anyway, Mean Girls is coming out. Okay, get ready, bust out all your pink wardrobe. You will not wanna miss that. Don't forget about Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations. I have a hard time believing that the St. Louis Cardinals winter warm-up and their season are kicking off before we know it. I know, I feel like we just wrapped up last season, my goodness. The Battlehawks, their season is gonna kick off in the spring, but don't worry, you can get your season tickets now. Not a bad idea. Could make a good gift too, you know? And of course, you've got to check out our home team, the St. Louis Blues. Okay, they will be in action all winter, and hopefully we'll be in the playoffs again, because it would be really, really awesome to get another Stanley Cup. Just saying. I didn't get to go out and like touch the last one, so I'm waiting for that. So for me, could you guys go for the Stanley Cup? Thank you. All of those great things are happening over the winter, and so much more. Woo, that was a lot of information. I hope you took notes. And thank you for keeping it right here on What's the 314 on STL TV. I don't know about you, but I had a really fun time here by myself in studio. An action-packed show always. But shoot, we're out of time. I hate this part. So I'd like to thank you at home for joining us. It really does mean a lot. Yes, the show may be over, but don't worry, you can always find us on Facebook, on X, Instagram, YouTube, or you can visit us on stltv.net. That's gonna do it, friends. I'm Angela Hochman. Keep it right here on STL TV, where you get to experience St. Louis.